Hey guys, Ice Hockey Aussies back again with another trade for you guys. Today we've got the Detroit Red Wings trading out a couple of their players. So first off, the big one is the Boston Bruins have acquired Tyler Bertuzzi at 50% retained. So Detroit retained 2.375 mil of his contract, and Detroit Red Wings acquire a 2024 first round pick that is Boston's conditional top 10 protected. So basically, if Boston finish this year, completely crap the bed next year and finish, get a draft pick in the top 10, that pick will move to 2025 first round pick. And they also get a 2025 fourth round pick. The second one for today, the Detroit Red Wings have finally given up on Jakub Vrana, and they have traded him to the St. Louis Blues. They've retained 50% of his salary, so they will retain $2.625 million of his salary, and in return they get basically a contract swap in Dylan McLaughlin and a 2025 seventh round pick. We'll start off first with the Bertuzzi one. It sucks. I don't think Detroit fans really would have wanted to lose Bertuzzi, given what he's done in the past couple of years. However, you sort of just accept that his UFA potentially not going to re-sign. They get a first round pick for him and a fourth. Ultimately, as much as this sucks for Detroit, losing such a goal scorer in Bertuzzi, I think it's a good return. You get another first round pick to add to your rebuild. You get a fourth round pick as well, which is just the added bonus. And for Boston get another goal scorer. He's been a little bit up and down this year with injuries and stuff like that, but he is a goal scorer by no means. He's not a spud when it comes to scoring goals. He's gotten in the 3 seasons he's played, pretty much the whole season, he's gone 21, 21, and 30. So he can definitely put the puck in the back of the net. I think the only real setback here for him would be staying healthy for Boston. That would be their only concern. And then the Jakub Vrana thing, I think ultimately for St. Louis, it's a great risk, isn't it? Like, you're getting a player who is highly skilled and can play. Yep, he's got the substance abuse issues and all the rest of that sort of stuff, but ultimately this is a guy that can score goals, can put up points, can play at a very high level, and with Detroit retaining half of his salary, they literally pick him up for the rest of this year and next year for pretty much 2.6. So it's a risk worth taking from St. Louis's point of view. They give up nothing for him, so why wouldn't you take it? For Detroit, I don't know. I don't know if giving him up for nothing is really worth, and retaining $2.6 million worth of his salary is worth getting nothing in return. I almost would have just kept him and given him a chance to sort of come back, show that he could do something, and then trade him at the deadline next year if you had to. Or if Detroit find themselves in a playoff spot, you can keep him for the playoff run. That trade makes no sense to me. So like I really like what they've done with the Bertuzzi trade, and then I've got no idea what's going on with the Vrana trade, because I feel like you've basically just given a player with potential away for absolutely nothing, unless it's a locker room sort of thing. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Alrighty. Yeah, the Tyler Bertuzzi is definitely doesn't look like the Tyler Bertuzzi that did the his career best last year in regards to it. Injury woes and whatnot, but Boston get depth, 50% retained. He's worth 2.3 mil, that's for sure. And it helps them for their run. Obviously, they're all out this year. They give up 2024 first. He is top 10 protected, and then a fourth rounder in 2025. It's I think it's a good haul for Detroit. That first round pick, and Yzerman's obviously gone and said, we're definitely not there yet. Get UFA, get as much as we can for him. You get a first round. It's obviously almost a no brainer, and it's a good work from Yzerman there and setting up for the years to come because they got some really good prospect draft picks this year. And in their second round, I think they've got St. Louis's and they've got Vancouver's, which will be high second round picks. So they're going to look good next year onwards, and that's when they're going to start kicking it. The Vrana trade, it's interesting. Like St. Louis get him on a good contract, and it's only a little bit of risk, 2.6 mil, and one extra year after this. So it's only a little risk. My issue with it is St. Louis the team that should be taking that risk, or I feel like it should be more of a more competing team than St. Louis. I think St. Louis should be more focusing on rebuild than players like Vrana. But I'm guessing they're hoping he does good, get his trade value up, flip him for more assets. That's what they're looking at because 2.6 mil, if he does good, he'll be worth a lot. In regards to Detroit, they free up that cap space, 2.6 mil. They were looking like there were salary cap issues for a while, and getting a 2.6 more mil is definitely good for them and gives Yzerman a little bit more breathing room on what he wants to do next year onwards. So all in all, love what Detroit's done, extracting the value from the players, finally get rid of Vrana. Love what Boston done because they can't go wrong with this because they're going for it this year. A little questionable on St. Louis's part, but I see the thought process trying to trade him next year in regards to if his value goes up. But yeah, they're my thoughts.
I think that's probably St. Louis's sort of outlook on this is that, okay, well, Jakub Vrana, if he comes back and gets to his old form, along with some of the other players we've got, because you look at their forward structure and they got Braden Shen, Buchnevich, Sard, Kapanen, Kairu, Thomas, now Vrana. They've got Blias. I know he's not overly that great, but they've still got players there. So they're not necessarily completely gone yet. I know they've lost Tarasenko and O'Reilly, and we're thinking maybe a rebuild, but I know that these guys don't want to rebuild. They want to do a retool of some sort, and maybe that's their thought process. Okay, well, we've just picked up a bloke for 2.6 mil who has the potential. He's 27 years old and has all the potential in the world. So, yeah, I like it from St. Louis's perspective because at the end of the day, if they shit the bed again next year and they come out and they're rubbish, not in the playoff position, but Verana is playing well, they get to trade him at the deadline to a potential Stanley Cup contender for picks, and they paid nothing for him. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm at a bit of a loss here. I think that's a great decision by St. Louis and a little bit questionable from Yzerman, unless, of course, it's to do with. I get that he was waived earlier in the year and no one took him, but also, $5 million, that's a lot to take on, so that's probably why they didn't. But with Detroit giving him away essentially and still retaining salary just seems very weird to me when you could have held on to him for that extra year. I don't necessarily know if they need that 2.6 mil next year. I guess it just depends where they're at or what Yzerman sees that they could get. But yeah, I mean, this is one that if Verana turns it on, does like crazy, St. Louis either make playoffs or don't make playoffs and trade him out for decent value, it might come back to bite Yzerman. But hey, the guy's got that much good, like that many good trades and good drafting history that I think will let one bad move go. Not saying that this is a bad move just yet, but it could come back to bite him.
Yeah, I'll say it now. I think it's a good move from Detroit. Allows him to make other moves next year. Um, issue with the St. Louis part of it. I'm not even sure if a retool is good enough for them. Just looking through their depth, I think they got a pretty good top 5 forwards or something like that. You got Shen, Kyrie, Buchnevich, and Thomas. They're your big point scorers basically. But yeah, I'm looking through it and there's basically no depth. Looking at the defensive line, I don't like it. I think it's got a lot of holes, and definitely the goalie situation is definitely questionable as well, with Binnington's attitude and whatnot. So I think they should be focusing more on a rebuild, and that's why I don't like instead of a retool, and that's why I don't like the trade as much. But yeah, that's why I like it from Detroit as well. They free up space. If they get some good picks this year that are NHL ready, they could really make a run for it, with that little bit extra space. But anyway, I guess that's it there. Feel free to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment below what you think on the two trades, how Boston, Detroit, and St. Louis have fared, and if you're disappointed in Detroit almost throwing in the towel for the season with regards to trading up players for picks, and if you're excited as a Boston fan, just picking up even more talent. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys for another trade video. Catch you later.
Take care, guys.